great roof is the making of a house, so it's important you can create something that looks awesome. By the end of this video, I'm going to teach you 6 simple techniques that you can use to transform your roof building skills. And for each step, we're going to be using the same 9x11 stripped oak wood box because, well, it makes it fair. It shows you the difference the roof makes, not by changing up all the walls. And we're going to do it one step at a time, so each stage builds on the last one. Let's go. First of all, we're going to talk about depth. Now, you see this kind of thing all the time. It's a perfectly good roof. It adds cover. It means nothing can get in. But oh my goodness, doesn't it look boxy? We can change that instantly. First thing I'm going to do is add one more layer of these steps to that side, and then come around the other side and add another layer of steps to this side as well. Now, that already gives it a lot more shape, but that's not good enough. We want to pop it out even more. So I'm going to add a step on the outside of here, and I'm going to do it on this side as well, all the way down. Now, this is quite basic, and a lot of people already do that, but it already adds a lot of shape. I'm then going to pop that there, and that like that, and we've got an even better looking roof straight away. And then again, underpin it with another upside down step all the way along, and you've transformed it from something that looks like that into something that looks like that, and it's already so much better. And that's all I'm going to say about depth for now, but we will revisit it when we've done some of the other things as well. Because now I want to talk about palette. With this roof here, we have used dark oak steps. Nothing else, just dark oak. That's a decent palette. I quite like it. But look how we can change it up. By edging it off with just some cobblestone, nothing else, all around the edge and up and down the sides, you can get a very different looking build, and that gives another level of detail and casts your eye across the entire roof rather than it being one block of colour. You can use a couple of different colours for the main body of your roof. They need to work together. That's spruce and dark oak, and they definitely do. And then you get a contrasting colour just on the end gables, like this dark prismarine here. And just by using those two techniques, you can go from boxy to actually quite an attractive looking house already. But we're just getting started. Now we need to look at texture. Now, texture means different things to different people, but for me, it's how rough or smooth something is. This roof here, it's very smooth. I like it very much, but it is very smooth. The straight lines that way, straight lines that way, straight lines across the top. This is a little bit more rustic fitting. You could use this with some medieval builds. I've brought in some solid blocks. It gives some ridging to this different roof structure here. So it looks just a little bit more roughed up, maybe a little bit more worn and weathered. I've also overhung just a little bit more these prismarine stairs on top of a full prismarine block there. I think it gives a much better texture to the roof. And textured roofs work best when the entire building itself is textured, and we'll have a look at that a little bit later on. If your build is a bit bigger, I've got to be honest, this one is possibly a little bit small, you can add both depth and texture into your roof by adding some fence posts if it's wooden, or if you've gone for a more stony palette, you could use different stone walls. This technique works really well on things like churches, but now it's time to really step it up. It's time to think about shape. And again, shape can mean a few things. This is what we call a standard 12-12 gable. You can see that it goes up at a 45-degree angle on both sides in a straight line. And that's a great type of gable to use, but there are choices. You've got the option of this steeper gable. Use a combination of steps and solid blocks to go up. And this one, I've used a 12-12 gable for 2 steps, and then I've put in a block with 2 steps, a block with 2 steps, a block with 2 steps to give that tapered end, and it gives a really nice effect. This is what I call a bell gable. It's kind of the opposite of the last one. I've started by going 2 steps block, 2 steps block, and then I'm doing a 12-12 on top. And that looks a little bit like a barn, that bell shape that you get on a barn roof. And you've then got this flatter roof style. I've just used slabs. So that is one slab. These are 2 different slabs. These are 2 different slabs here. That's because I'm going up at half a block at a time to get this much shallower gradient. I'm using that. If I get rid of that and that, you can see if I don't put that extra block in, I have it just as a single line, I get this ugly little piece of roof on the inside. That's because I can't have a full block. So if I place in these like this, we get that nice thick gable end that we get on the other roofs, but it still stays in that nice shallow slope. And that's quite useful for things like barns or stables or outhouses. And then we can change up the definition of shape completely by adding little bits of roof coming out at angles. We've changed the shape of the house, not necessarily the roof. And in doing this, we get a much more interesting footprint, and the way your eye falls across the house is far more pleasing. And of course, you can mix footprint shape with roof shape to make it even more interesting. So you've got shape down now. What comes next? The next thing we have to think about is height. All three of these roofs start at the same height. We've got 5 blocks up, and then the edge of the roof starts on all 3 of them. And you know, that works fine. I've seen some amazing builds where you've got these parallel roofs. But you can get some great effects if you change the heights up. This one is 4 high. This main one is still 5 high. And this one over here is 6 high. And you get that staggered effect. That's quite nice. And then you can really change things up. We've got this one at the front is only 2 off the ground. This on the side is 3. On this side it is 5 off the ground, as is this smaller offshoot here. And this one here, that's 7 off the ground. You've got so many different levels, and it becomes really interesting to look at. And that's before we've done the last thing. And the last thing is embellishment. Now this is where you can really get your teeth stuck in. Now you can go to town and you wouldn't use all the things that I've done on the same build, but I'm just here to show you what they are. So what I've got here, we've just got a standard roof separator. These are slabs going across just slightly above the level of the bottom of the roof, and I've just lobbed a plant in a pot with a little window. That's great. Obviously here we've put some vines on the roof. That's quite a nice detail. Here we put ourselves a little pop out window. We've got some solid blocks there. We've got some fence posts, we've got a little light, we've got a window, and we've got a very shallow roof that pops into the main roof. That works really beautifully. I like that. Here we've got a double height window, and we've got just one upside down stair with a light on. That's all you need. Or maybe just put some trapdoors across the bottom of another 1 high window, put in some fence, and dangle a lantern from it. You could put a little bit of glow lichen in. Now, I wouldn't necessarily do this with a wooden pallet, but with a stone pallet, that would work quite nicely. We've got a chimney. This is a winding chimney, a little bit rickety. You could have a straight one. I've got some mossy blocks, cobble, standard stone, all of it made out of stone. Here, we've got some trapdoors that have got a campfire underneath it and one of the new pots on top, because that makes a great chimney pot and it allows the smoke to come through. I've got another separator, this time made out of trapdoors poking out, and again, a double window with a lantern. That works really nicely. Up on top here, I've put an amethyst crystal in front of a window with 2 trapdoors on either side that acts as a shutter. Here we've got a different design of pop out. This is a larger pop out window, more like an attic dormer window if you like. We've got quite a wide windowsill on that one. We've got 2 little fence posts with a light, 2 high. It's just a duplicate of a standard 12-12 gable going into the roof. That works beautifully. And here we've got a more ornate window. We've got a separator along here made out of steps and slabs. We've got 3 slabs for a windowsill. We've got wall, we've got fence, then we've got 2 trapdoors with a slab in front of a window with a plant with a pot and a hanging lantern. That's more complex, but my goodness, that works so well. Here I've put some open fence gates. They act as great little support structures around this roof too. Right here I've just placed in some trapdoors. There's some oak trapdoors, there's some spruce trapdoors. You could use different trapdoors as well, but again it separates the roof out from the main body of the wall. Now remember, this wall they've put in here, that's got nothing on it. It's dull, it's boring. There's no doors, there's no windows, there's no embellishment, there's no detailing. It's boring, but even so the roof looks great. So now we've done all that, what would it look like on an actual finished house with all the embellishment palette working well together rather than this jumbly mess that I've got here? Well, let's transfer this house into a real world in a nice setting and change up the walls, put some windows, some doors, all that kind of stuff in, and see what the house actually looks like. I've put it into this wide open sunflower plains with a mountain backdrop and a village for some neighbours. The house is now detailed up with windows, doors, wall embellishments, and of course lots of landscaping and bushes, but it's the roof that makes this Minecraft base pop. I really hope that this tutorial on how to build a great roof has helped you. If it has, let me know in the comments, what was your favourite bit? What part of roofs do you really hate? I'd be interested to find out. And I'll look forward to seeing you in another video. You take it easy now. Bye!